Dear Jen, you can already start.
Thank you for attending panel 2. Our theme in this panel is Chinese and Armenian cooperation in the framework of Belt and Road Initiative. We have 6 scholars. I want to remind you that each of you will have 10 minutes. I'm really looking forward to your speeches. Let's welcome the first scholar, Professor Song Lilei from Tongji University in Shanghai, China. She is the professor at the School of Political Science and International Relations, Deputy Director of European Research Center and researcher of the German Research Center in Tongji University. And her topic will be cooperation between China and Armenia under the Belt and Road Initiative. Please, Professor, the floor is all yours.
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you very much for inviting me to join this forum. And Tongji University is a national university in Shanghai, belong to the Ministry of Education. Our Center for European Studies is supported by the Ministry of Education, and in our centers we have, we have got Ramone Chichimodu program and the other honor. But for today, I only talk about the China and Armenia relations, not to refer to the EU or the other big powers. Thank you. I will talk about this Green Silk Road.
Let's turn
to
tape.
The next. Thank you.
Okay.
And yeah, thank you. And you know, in 2000, in the early of the 2000s, and China has formulated this China agenda for 21st century. This is brought on China's own conditions and established a strategic framework for China's sustainable development towards this new century. And also, in my understandings, the aims of China's this sustainable development this concept is consistent with the UN Sustainable Development requirements. It is demand the China's responsibilities and missions to build these communities with a shared future of humankind. China has complied with China National Report on Sustainable Development in the early stages of the 19th Special UN General Assembly. It is happened in 1997, and also the UN World Summit held in 2002. The third very important progress is happened in 2012. The efforts and the progress, it is really clarified the China's principle for sustainable development to the international communities. And in 2015, we know that the UN has issued this 2030 agenda for sustainable development. The China has actively participated in every stage, from its consolidating to the discussion and setting and launching. In September 2016, China released this national plan for China's implication of 2030 agenda. This is for the sustainable development. And in 2017 and 2019, the report of the China's progress in the implication of 2030, it is released. And recently, the Chinese President Xi Jinping himself announced that China has committed to achieve this carbon neutralities by the 2030s, and its emissions will peak in the 2030. And please, next slide. And in practice, China has taken urgent and pragmatic steps to address this program. This included the environmental protection and the restoration, which is based on the introduction and ecological protection. It has the red lines. In return, it has achieved very positive results. I have some case studies here. You'll see that China has established this natural protection systems with national parks. And now China has more than 11,000 natural resources of various types. that is accounting for more than 18% of China's land. And to protect this biodiversities of China's longest river, Yangtze River, it has opened 10 years fishing bans from 2020. These bans will imply in over 300 natural reserves in Yangtze River Basin. And China's forest covers grew. This growth rate is increased sharply. You'll see that in the 1949 it's only 8%, and now the data is the newest I can check. It's increased to 22%. The measures aimed to restoration the harmony between the man and the natures, which has brought back to the many wildlife. And from the 2010 to 2020, the proportions of the coals in China's primary energy consumptions, this structure has dropped to 10%. Next slide, thank you. And when considered the balance between economic growth and job creation, China's efforts to build this eco-friendly economic experience, I think, has three important references. The first, economic growth should need to the balance between the ecological protection and restorations. And the second, to pursue this harmonious coexistence between man and natures is no negotiating, which should cross the political and ideology boundaries. And the third, the government should make decisive policies, such as in China. If it has decided to pursue this green industrializations, there has no more debate about closing these high pollution factories or not. Next slide, thank you. So when we consider this construction of the Green Silk Road, China has made the following commitments, such as during the general debate on the UN Assembly in 2021. The China has announced that it will no longer build these new overseas coal power projects. And China has, in practice, for its new concept of Green Silk Road, it is advocated the green, low carbon, circular and sustainable production and lifestyle. It is purpose to establish this Belt and Road green development, and it is appealing that we should build this international alliance and provide assistance to the relevant countries, which is in addressing and strengthening the climate change. Such as the Chinese government, they have encouraged these solar powers and wind power enterprises to cooperate with the countries along the Belt and Road. It is encouraged enterprises to do the investment and corporations in new energy industrials, such as the new vehicles manufacturing and the other fields, to stop this construction overseas coal power projects, and steadily promote the overseas coal power projects under the construction. And recently, in the fifth conference for the parties of Convention on the Biological Diversity, it is held in 2021, China has pledged that it will take the leader in contribution around 1.5 billion yuan to establish this Kunming Biodiversity Fund. It will sustainable the other developing countries for the biodiversity conversations. Please, next slide. Next slide, thank you. So in my standings, the Chinese President Xi Jinping himself has clearly mentioned the clean waters and large mountains, they are the invulnerable hazards. He himself has emphasized that this good ecological environment is not only the natural wealth, but it's also the economic wealth. And for the two small progress between China and Armenia, I found that just in last year, Armenia has brought this new energy bars from China. It will really great help for the public transportation, for these green transportations. I think this is a very great necessary step between China and Armenia green cooperation. And also, we know that Armenia is very beautiful for the natural resources. It has a mirror of the Caucasus, a Lake of Sullivan. I trust it will really the more and more potentials for green cooperations between China and Armenia. That's my short lectures. Welcome your comments and suggestions. Thank you.
Okay. Is that all, Professor Song Lilei?
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Professor Song Lilei. And okay. Let's move to the next speaker, and Dr. Anahit Parzyan. She is the important co-author of the book. I mean, this book, the China and Eurasia, Rethinking Cooperation and the Contradictions in the Era of Changing World Order. She made a lot of efforts on this and really support our cooperation, especially academic cooperation. And she is from the China-Eurasia Council for Political and Strategic Research. Her topic is China's Digital Silk Road and Armenia. Can there be a match? Please, Anahit, the floor is all yours, please.
Thank you very much, dear moderator, for introducing me. It's a pleasure to be here and to celebrate the 30th anniversary of Chinese and Armenian diplomatic relations. And today I'm going to talk about the digital Silk Road and about the possibilities of finding a match for this project within this area. So I'm going to shortly introduce Digital Silk Road. Well, it was not an originally different program. It was a part of a One Belt, One Road initiative, which was actually came into focus in 2015 only, when the technological advance of China in different perspective gave its products and visibility and also income. Of course, Chinese market totally into the internet brought its advanced and achievements, and consequently, Digital Silk Road became a very effective, productive, and very important part of the initiative. So Digital Silk Road has different components, and among them, these four are specifically important. Digital infrastructure, which is basically about their technology that is being invested due to huge investments, particularly around $79 billion. The technological advancement is spreading through the Belt and Road Initiative among the members, but not only members, but also those who would like to buy Chinese products. Next one is the e-commerce, which is also an astonishing part of the Belt and Road Initiative, and particularly Digital Silk Road. Here I would like to mention that there are currently mentioned in statistics 904 million internet users that are technologically using also e-commerce within China. And China has become one of the first countries in the world that is most mobile. The users of mobile internet are more than actually internet users, which is basically also because of the e-commerce, which is very much popular and very much integrated into the general life of the Chinese people. And also the fintech, which is a high financial technology that brings affordability, availability to not only urban, but also rural areas where basic infrastructures are not available. So the third one is the cyberspace. Chinese cyberspace policy is very much different from the Western part, and here is the exactly problem when it comes to big dialogues. Basically, they are pushing into the sovereign state on digital perspective on cyberspace, which means that all the policy implementations are based on the country's ideas of sovereignty. So this is not linked to internet governance perspective, which speaks about open borders without any limitations on a national level. And the last one is the advanced technology. Particularly, I would like to mention about the BeiDou navigation satellite system, which is very much advanced currently, and it is actually it will provide with more advanced geolocation services for smart cities and face recognition systems. That is why it is very much important. And while the navigation system will benefit from the space, the technology is also generating quantum computing, which will give benefits also during war without any internet connection for maritime drone systems, which is basically a very important advantage in warfare affairs. Consequently, these technological advances can't put China on a simple perspective, but it will bring China to a new standardized perspective. That is what China is pushing for. Before passing to our area, I would like to mention that China specifically prioritized 3 tiers. The first one is that it was starting from 2015 to 2020, China was pushing to have a production of goods. And then from 20 to 25, the new technology and new strategy brought it to the production of solutions and software and technology. And then in 2035, the goal is to produce standards, because based on the standards, China sees the highest top priority of the tiers. That's how the technology will be introduced to the world. But here, where it comes to the different perspective of ideology, because the standards you have based on IE, data analytics, and the facial recognition system collection and the human rights, here are the standards that will protect these ideas. So that is the basic problem nowadays China is facing with the West. And that's why Huawei is sanctioned, and other countries are also find some difficulties to buy Chinese products. But I would like to mention that Huawei in the world has the most patented versions of its solutions, particularly in 5G. So it's not easy to push them out from the market if they already have the standards and patents in a specific country. And China sees that as future component of its digital Silk Road development. That's why it buys patents in specific countries and then imports the products to that specific countries where it already has the patents, which means it gives the highest priority to the compatibility of these products. In our region, China's digital Silk Road has a match with Eurasian Economic Union's digital agenda, which says that if all the members of the Eurasian Economic Union go to the same digital agenda perspective, they will have more benefits rather than if they go separately. Currently, of course, there exists the Eurasian Economic Union's digital agenda, and there are also different products, one of which I am humbled to be participate in, which is Work for All platform, which unites all announcement for labor markets of all Eurasian Economic Union. But at the same time, each of the member states has their own different agendas of transformation, digital transformation, and it's not quite clear whether they will join within the same strategy. So why it is important to mention that China's digital Silk Road can have a match in Eurasian Economic Union's digital agenda, because the standards and the perception of what is secure is very much similar to what Russia as a locomotive of that union is proposing. For example, the sovereignty in cyberspace, which is ideologically the same as in Chinese one, and they are at the same platform with UN group of governmental experts, which are discussing and putting these norms of conduct. In Armenia, as a small state, it's very hard to manage all these infrastructure difficulties, particularly if we are mostly and currently importers, and we are not still in the process of developing a technology or a product that can be exported to China on a digital level. But at the same time, we have issues that we can come and bring solutions together. Digital infrastructure, of course, we are in the development procedures, and Armenia is growing actually very fast in digital infrastructure mechanisms. But still, we need to go not due to time, but we have to jump because we have missed a lot of stuff due to war issues, due to economic issues, and we really need to jump. So 5G technologies and particularly e-public services, which are doing very productive measurements in China, can become a real perspective to talk about. Cyberspace, of course, we are a small state, and probably we have more with GDPR standards of European Union, but still as a small state, we need to be protected by norms because we are among those countries who can only speak about the norms and the laws. And we can become a norm entrepreneur in UN group of governmental experts. So Armenia needs to be active in cyberspace norms of conduct perspective. E-commerce is absolutely new sphere, and it is growing very fast. We can take advantage of Chinese technologies and probably try them, particularly in rural areas. That will definitely save money for basic infrastructure, fiber optics, and other procedures. Fintech and Tencent in fintech is one of the best in that perspective. And of course, advanced technologies. We really need satellite navigation system, particularly for our warfare affairs. And of course, their advantage in this space can bring a knowledge and R&D for Armenia. How to be safe online? Of course, there is no safety online. You have to compromise your safety with your comfortability and your income. But what we really need to know is to know a little bit more, to be protected a little bit more. So for that reason, we need to learn more about Chinese digital Silk Road and try to be among those who win that. So I think that was the conclusion. I've already concluded that. Some critical infrastructure protection is basically very important. Shared peaceful cyber environment, of course, and national cybersecurity strategy on fundamental developments. That is. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Anahit Parzyan. It's very glad to meet you again. And we can see that the two topics before represent the future tendency and full potential. And next, let's move to the traditional research fields. Let's welcome Dr. Liu Xu, who is my close colleague and friend. Let me see. Dr. Liu Xu is the Deputy Director of Institute of Russian, East European and Central Asian Studies in School of International Affairs of Renmin University of China, and Executive Director of Center for International Energy and Environment Strategy Studies, also Research Fellow of Eurasian Academy of Renmin University of China. Let's welcome Dr. Liu Xu. The floor is all yours.
Okay, thank you, Professor Zheng. It's very honor to have a speech here and meet a lot of people from Armenia. I'm doing the research on the Eurasia regions and specialized on the energy issues. But it's my first time to have a chance to exchange my opinions with our Armenia partners, our Armenia experts. Очень приятно с вами познакомиться. So here today, I would like to share some my own opinion on the energy cooperation between China and Armenia, because I'm doing the research on energy cooperations in the Eurasia regions, but actually I have to say I'm a freshman in the energy issues in Armenia. Because of traditionally we focus on the pipeline issues, the oil and gas trade and the investments between Russia, Europe, and China. Okay, so Armenia in the Caucasus, although it's a very important country, but in the energy field, it's not so significant, the importance. Okay? But I think there's just also very interesting issues, very special points. Okay? We could present here about Armenia energy issues. Okay? To what I have understand, and the energy issues in Armenia, I would like to take the perspective of two very important points, which I think should be the future, how to say, the very important point of view to look at energy issues. Because in current, we'll consider the current situation worldwide, we'll find we have to think 2 points of the energy issues in the national energy governance. One is the sustainability. We could say the low carbon tendency. Okay? That's very important. And another is a very traditional, this energy security. We could change it to another word, the supply stability. First, from the point of the sustainability or the low carbon tendency, I think naturally Armenia is doing better than many of the countries in the world, even better than China, because when I look through the energy balance of the Armenia, we find that in the energy mix of Armenia, natural gas is take share of 60%. This is a very high share, and the total fossil fuel, including the natural gas, so took a share of 75% in Armenia. It is lower than the average level of the world. The average level of the world is almost slightly above 80%. And it's better, much better than China, because we know our China, we consumed much coal, okay? And this is contributed to the CO2 emissions and also to the fossil fuel proportions in the total energy mix. And we also find that there's still a great potential of the so-called clean energy in Armenia. The first is the nuclear energy, and we know there's one nuclear plant is still in operation in Armenia, and there also a government plan to build another new nuclear plant. And then we also find that because Armenia is a mountainous state and is full of the renewable energies like solar, wind, and also the thermal energy. So this is full of the potential, renewable potentials. And also there's a traditional clean energy, this hydro energy. And hydro energy is also very important energy in Armenia. So we could find that there's a great potential of renewable energy in Armenia. And when we consider the potential of renewable energy and also the current nuclear energy and also the natural gas, although we think natural gas is part of the fossil fuels, but compared to the coal and oil, natural gas is still relatively clean. Okay? So we think the clean energy in Armenia has a bright future. So we need to implement this part of the energy resource. Okay? And I find that in last year, Armenia government approved several important documents concerning the energy development. The first is about 20 years energy plan. Okay, you have right. It will give a direction of the future energy development of the country. And another is Armenia government approved a new NDC plan. Okay, that's also very important to lead the country's energy mix into a more sustainable and low carbon one. Yeah. So this is the first point from the sustainability point. And the second is about stable supply stability. And we could also change the word to the energy security. And I think this is a very important issues in Armenia. And just like in China, we could share the similarity and almost the same status quo of the energy security issues, because we both have the relatively high independent on the foreign market, but different from China, because China, we have more diversified the energy importing routes. But Armenia has too heavily dependent on Russia. Yeah? For example, the natural gas is almost 80% of natural gas is coming from Russia, and all of the nuclear fuel is also coming from Russia. And also, we know that this traditional historic legacy of the energy cooperation between Armenia and Russia, which could come back to the Soviet era. Yeah. And now we also know that there's the nuclear technology in Armenia is also heavily dependent on the Russia's company, Rosatom. And the natural gas, the import and also the distribution of the natural gas is controlled by the Russia's affiliated, the Gazprom Armenia. So this will limited the Armenia energy options, and also will limit the capability of Armenia to negotiate the international energy price with the importers. Yeah. So I think there's great energy security problems, but how to solve or how to improve this problem, I think we still have to take a serious considerations, because here, that's just I want to say the second point, is that we have to think the close relation between Armenia and Russia, yeah? Because as an energy, a large energy country, and the country also is full of the advanced energy technology, China has a great potential to cooperate with Armenia in the energy field. And I think in the past several years, we have done this in this process. But what I want to say is that Russia is still very important. I think there's many spheres could involve not only in Armenia and China, but also with Russia. So I would like to suggest or recommend a triangle cooperative framework in Armenia, because we need to consider the traditional and very powerful Russia's presence in the energy sectors of Armenia. And then we could jointly to improve the several important projects in Armenia. For example, I find in the 20 years energy plan of Armenia that there's several very important initiatives on the improvement of the energy infrastructure. For example, the pipelines, natural gas pipeline, the electricity transmission lines, and also the heat network. So which Chinese companies could contribute it, with their technologies and also the capitals and also the know-hows. And also I find that there's another very important part of the plan is that to improve the energy efficiency, because most of the energy facility in Armenia was built in the Soviet era. So there's a lot of facilities already outdated, and they need to be reformed and also build new ones. And I think China and the Chinese companies could play a very important role here, but not only, but also with other interested partners like Russia, and also beyond Russia. And that's what I want to say. The last point is that because we think there's a serious geopolitical conflict in the Caucasus, especially, what I mean is that the the relations between Armenia and Azerbaijan, and also Armenia and Turkey. Okay? But I would like to give you an example that like China and Japan, okay, we have relatively cold political relations, but it doesn't intertwine our country's energy cooperation. Okay? CNPC is the largest energy corporation, the oil and gas corporation in China. CNPC in 2010 purchased the 50% of the stocks of Japan's largest refineries. Okay? So although we have relatively cold or tough political relations, but we still could use the energy cooperation. We could do the business in the energy sectors. So here I want to say that because we need to resolve or find the solutions to the energy security problems for Armenia, I think Azerbaijan and Georgia and also Turkey, Iran, all the countries around Armenia, which is full of the resources and also full of the energy infrastructures, could be the partner of Armenia to resolve these problems. So I think we, like expert from China, I think we will have a bright cooperative future in the energy field. And I think the energy cooperation could be a very important, trigger, not only to the improvement of energy security of Armenia, but also to the peaceful future in Armenia and also in Caucasus. Thank you very much. Спасибо большое за внимание.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Liu Xu, for your speech. And because of the time limit, let's move to the next speaker, Dr. Nare Haroyan. She is the advisor of the Ministry of Economy of Republic of Armenia. I'm really impressed about her earnest spirit to email me about her research. Really appreciate you, Nare. And now the floor is all yours. The topic is From Armenian Market to China, the Growing Potential. Please.
Yeah, before I see my speech, firstly, I want to congratulate the establishment of 30th anniversary of diplomatic relation between Armenia and China. And we're just thinking that Armenian-Chinese cooperation in the framework of Belt and Road Initiative is safe because 3 Armenian women are delivering speech in this contest. And also I want to thank for all the organizers on behalf of Mr. Maher Sahakyan for the opportunity to deliver this speech. Today, I will mostly talk about the growing potential of Armenian market to China. And here I'm thinking how to check. Okay, sorry. I want to mention that our ministry really values the development of economic relations between Armenia and China. And at this moment, there are several business organizations who are conducting extensive work in this area. And actually, I saw some of our business partners here today. Very happy to share several ideas here. Mostly, I will talk about a few sections that we prioritize, but I just specifically mention here, we don't limit this because there are more opportunities coming up, but I'm just going to talk about ongoing and upcoming projects, mostly in the fields of trade expansion, financial agreements, industrial cooperation, and tourism promotion. Why I would like to talk about trade expansion, because there is a growing demand from both Armenian side and from China side. However, to achieve this goal, we need to solve several issues. One of them is logistics. In this respect, several people before me, doctors already talk about this, that we need to initiate direct flights between Armenia and China. And also we are thinking to draw a truck road between from Armenia to China, which will also, let's say, help Armenia become part of One Belt and One Road initiative. Direct flights between Armenia and China at this moment is critical because it will not only increase the cargo and business relation, but also help us increase the tourism, etc. And currently our government, like the Embassy of Armenia in China, is having some discussions with China Southern Airlines about this initiative. And there is this interesting project that we call the Trucks Road. It can be the perfect alternative for the existing cargo and bring financial income for both for China and Armenia. Today, we had talked a lot about the problems of one belt and one road, that I think this truck road could be an interesting alternative, which will, the truck can drive from China to Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, Iran, Armenia, and from Armenia to Europe, which will also make Armenia to become like a cargo hub between China and Europe. However, this should be discussed and should be agreed between Armenia and China. We have two options here. You can take a look and I can move on. Trade expansion is also here one point we prioritize, is to increase the export of Armenian products, because today we also noticed that mostly we export minerals. However, we want to move to more, like to expand the export. But to expand the export, we need again to solve several issues. For example, we need to license several Armenian products to be able to enter China market, and for this reason, we need some interstate agreements. Secondly, we need to decrease some import tax duties. And at this stage, we are discussing, for example, to put 0% tax on wines. And most importantly, I think we need to activate large-scale participation of Armenian companies in China expos, because this is the only way to spread awareness. In this respect, at this moment, we are signing an agreement with Canton Fair. We are also getting ready for China Import-Export Fair, and we are going to hire a China company to do our PR and branding. This is a very critical point, financial agreements. We are all very well aware that financial ties can be initials for many, many things. One of them, again, I am unable to, okay, get back. Yeah, here we have several solutions. For example, we suggest to activate Yunnan Pay in Armenian banks, online payment licenses in Armenia for WeChat Pay, and most importantly, if possible, we suggest to do direct exchange from RMB to Armenia with swap agreements, where we don't need to we don't need an intermediate banks like USD account. We suggest to do direct exchange from RMB to Armenian drams, and this will not only help to increase import export, but it will also bring investments flow from China to Armenia. Most importantly, to build factories here. Chinese companies can open offshore accounts here and other corresponding accounts. Industrial cooperation, here I just want to you pay attention on this picture, because this is an industrial park which is going to be built in Abovyan city in Armenia. And we all know the Chinese experience in the field of building industrial parks, and we would pretty much appreciate if China could take part in building industrial parks in Armenia by inviting Chinese experts here, doing some evaluation, building infrastructures, etc., which I am sure we talked earlier here as well. Meanwhile, we also, for example, we cannot just expect China to come and do investments in Armenia. We need to always get back to them with a specific business plan, and in this respect, we need to showcase an existing opportunities in Armenia for Chinese investors, so they exactly know where are the fields that they can do investments, and we can talk about and discuss our free economic zones and how they can be of use. Okay. Last section I would like to mention is a tourism promotion between two countries, which is also very important for both of us. But I think here we need two parts. First, we need to make Armenia to become a China-friendly country for Chinese tourists. In this respect, we are thinking to put QR codes in Zvartnots airport, where as soon as Chinese tourists arrive, they can scan and they can receive all the information necessary guide in Chinese since the Zvartnots airport. And also we want to improve the hospitality sectors, which means we are thinking to add Chinese language in hotels guide, restaurants menus, sightseeing signs. So this will make Armenia a little bit attractive for Chinese tourists. And again, we also need to spread awareness about Armenia in Chinese platforms, because we know that Chinese people mostly get information in their most famous platforms like WeChat and other platforms. And one of our partners currently is developing Visit Armenia WeChat mini app, where again, you can find all the information about Armenia before visiting Armenia. This is all. Thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nare Haroyan. I got a very similar feeling about your speech. When I was in Yerevan, I really enjoyed the days there. And I really believe that Armenia had a bright and attractive market to China. And next, let's move to Dr. Sun Chao. He is the Associate Professor of the Center of International Studies in Jiangsu Administration Institute in China. He is a very diligent scholar with passion on the Eurasian studies. And his topic will be Sino-Armenia relations and regional security cooperation under the Belt and Road Initiative. Please, Dr. Sun, the floor is all yours.
Okay, very thank you for the chairman. I'm very delighted to have this opportunity to exchange views with you on the Sino-Armenia regional security and cooperation, and under the SELC, the Belt and Road Initiative. This year marks the 13th anniversary of Sino-Armenia formal diplomatic relations. As beautiful countries along the Silk Road economic belt, Armenia have one important development opportunity. My topic will discuss three issues. That's listed in the syllabus. Okay, let's first begin, and I just share stories. In Armenia, foreign partner, the China occupies a very important position. The two countries enjoy the profound traditional friendship. The two ancient peoples, the Armenian and the Chinese, have the aware of each other's existence. In the Chinese name, Armenia is pronounced as Yamenia, where its hieroglyph means beautiful maids of Asia. In its terms, some Armenian accounts tells legend refer to China as the country of change, Chinachi and Chinastan. The Armenia have been traveling to China to trade and have been importing silk and other Chinese goods to the Armenia over 2,000 years ago. It's a parallel of Han Dynasty. The two peoples have engaged in the active trade on silk, tea, checkwear, and other products. In the famous books, History of Armenia, written by the Mopsis Kalanaxi. The days of shepherds and ancestral Macedonian family came from the northeast, from noble and great country, and from one of the most northern peoples, the Chinese. The friendship and the cooperation between the two peoples have been continued through the ancient Silk Road. The significance of Armenia to China lies in both history and reality. Since the 1990s, our understanding of Armenia reflects more intellectual concerns and interest on change and conflicts after the collapse of the Soviet Union. With the development of the Belt and Road Initiative, Armenia has proved itself to be a good friend and a good partner. The common characteristics between China and Armenia lies three aspects. First is that economic development coming first. In Armenia, foreign economic partner, China occupies an important position. China has become Armenia's second largest trading partner. In 2021, bilateral trade between Armenia and China had reached $1.4 billion. The second is that the two people are the all peace-loving nation. China is steadfast in its commitment to uphold world peace, pursue joint development, and foster partnerships. And the last is that the two nations are expected to strive for fair international relations. The key of Xi Jinping's thought on diplomacy, building a community with shared future for mankind is the only alternative to the predatory policy of the great powers, which stand for the interests of third world countries. So the development of Sino-Armenia relation lies in promoting cooperation through development. As a state located at the geopolitical center, Armenia has faced a complicated regional security environment. The great powers such as the US and the big powers like Turkey, Russia, Iran, and the European Union have penetrated the region and exerted different influence. With the Silk Road Economic Belt Initiative, China makes the effort to make international relations fair and more inclusive, to improve cooperation through development, fostering another pattern of regional governance. So the geopolitical economic value of the Silk Road Economic Belt Road lies in four aspects. The first is more connectivity. Armenia's external connectivity needs more chance. China has set up the cooperation, shared more business projects, more open Chinese domestic markets, and multilateral financial cooperation mechanisms such as Silk Road Fund and National Infrastructure Investor Bank. And the second is just a win-win development. Since Silk Road Economic Belt Initiative was launched, China has made certain achievements in bilateral relations with Armenia. Chinese investment in the infrastructure supported development nations in their pursuit of the development and reducing poverty, increase the power of the nation. The third is the demonstration effect. The Silk Road spirit will create demonstrating effect driving bilateral and multilateral cooperation into greater depths. The fourth is a bigger role. Armenia can take advantage of the opportunity of Silk Road Economic Belt Initiative and promote its role in the Eurasia Economic Union, which makes it possible for Armenia to play a big role in the various international cooperation mechanisms. So the Armenia can take the opportunity to develop more programmatic cooperation with China. Under Silk Road Economic Initiative, Armenia can take export to China as a sustainable strategy. Drinking water, fruit, and wine of Armenia are highly competitive, and at the same time, they need more relatively high exposure to Chinese consumer. The Silk Road Belt Initiative will supply more opportunity for the mutual cooperation. And the other is interconnectivity. The Chinese has a concern about the trading bridge extending across Eurasia. Armenia is active to launch the Persian Gulf Black Sea International Multimodal Transport Corridor to connect Iran with Europe. If it becomes true, this route will be a new one for China to connect Europe. The third is to strengthen the epidemic cooperation. During a difficult time, the fighting against the epidemic, the leader of Armenia have given more support and opposite stigmatization of Chinese international image. As the epidemic broke out in Armenia, the Chinese government has brewed multiple batches of epidemic supplies, including improving public transportation and medical vehicles, and 100,000 vaccines. So China and Armenia had much common concerns, especially concerning security affairs. Both respect each other's choice of development paths. Both are possessing interference in other countries' internal affairs by external forces. Both form up hiding the international system with United Nations core and the international order based on international law. Both possess extremism, separatism, and terrorism. Both practice more true multilateralism and promote the building of a community with a shared future for mankind. So the future expectation is waiting for us. We'll just give three advice about regional cooperation. Firstly, just join the creating a new cooperation model. The China and Armenia can build a diversified governmental cooperation platform, including Chinese and Armenia invest opportunity to promote major projects. The second is promoting more and small and beautiful projects. By promoting more and small and beautiful projects such as social welfare project, new vaccine researchers, and small city construction through the Silk Road Economic Belt Cooperation Platform, the early harvest plan can be achieved through solid bilateral relations. The last year strengthened counter-terrorism cooperation. China is ready for Armenia to strengthen cooperation with Armenia on counting terrorism and security cooperation in law enforcement, and further consolidate and develop bilateral relations. So I'm here. Thank you for attention. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Sun Chao, for your speech and for your sharing. And you have talked a lot of stuff that I want to talk in my previous speech, and I'm really inspired by that book by Jean-Pierre Maé, especially the connection between the ancient Silk Road. And let's next to welcome the next speaker, and Dr. Anna Zalinyan. She is the author of The Peculiarities of the Public Administration of the Republic of Armenia and the People's Republic of China, which was published in the year of 2020. The topic will be sustainable economic cooperation between Armenia and China in changing world. Please, Dr. Anna Zalinyan, the floor is all yours.
郑先生，谢谢您介绍我的。Thanks for introducing me, and I would like to thanks to Dr. Maher again for organizing such kind of very important forum. Today I will be mostly speak about sustainable economic cooperation between Armenia and China in changing worlds. So along with global economic globalization, the strengthening and growth of the economies in developing countries, multi-faced world in taking shapes. At the same time, many international issues, such as terrorism, regional conflicts, socio-economic development, imbalances, major epidemic, etc., have not been resolved yet. So changing world requires a transformation of thinking and idea in line with the times. In order to ensure joint development, it is necessary to create a new type of international cooperation based on mutual benefit, especially economic relations. Peace and development are still staying the cornerstone of the civilization in our rapidly changing worlds. Maintaining sustainable economic cooperation between Armenia and China in changing world is a vital issue, not only for the interest of the peoples of these two countries, but also for the development of peace, sustainable development in the region. Maintaining peace and joint development is a common mission. So to achieve this goal, for its implementation is very important to build relations of harmonious coexistence with rational and reasonable approaches. In 1992, the establishment of diplomatic relations on April 6, 2006, the mutually beneficial cooperation between the Republic of Armenia and the Republic of China covers many spheres of politics, economic, and cultural life. In recent years, China's growing role in the changing world order has become more prominent in the world economic and political arena in different regions. Armenia, being a small part of this important region, very often finds itself for the center of the struggle and change. The 44 days war and the political events that followed it makes us once again reflect on the new geopolitical relations in the region, paying special attention to China's influence and role and its active investment policy, along with the regional development and geopolitical changes. The issue of strengthening the Armenian-Chinese cooperation, organizing bilaterally political economic cooperation with new quality and approaches is on the agenda. Considering the agenda of the Armenian Armenian-Chinese cooperation within the framework of Chinese One Belt, One Road initiative are raised economic, diplomatic, and political issues. One of the key issues of this project is the modernizing of the transport infrastructure connecting Armenia with Iran and also Georgia. The main indicators of Armenian-Chinese trade and economic relations show that despite 30 years of Armenia-China economic cooperation, the existing potential is not fully used for, requires a review of the adopted approaches. From the point of view of trade and economic relations, this is due, among other things, to the lack of direct transport links between the two countries, as well as the existence of Armenia's poorly developed transport infrastructure. Of course, there can be not an economy without political goals. There can be no politics without economic cooperation. In any case, this initiative of China gives an opportunity, just have to be flexible and far-sighted. Regardless of the level of its participation in the Chinese program, its implementation, Armenia will receive certain benefits. These benefits simply have to be comparable to the achievements of neighboring countries, especially given our relationship with Azerbaijan and Turkey. As a leading world power in the world economy, China is also a major trading partner for EU countries. In 2020, China's share of mutual trade reached $90 billion, accounting for 20% of foreign trades. Cooperation of EU and China can create new opportunities for the implementation for potential transportation projects. Our country's cooperation with China should be directly aimed at increasing the investment attractiveness and competitiveness of economies, promoting sustainable development of investment innovation. Bilateral trade and economic ties have a special role in the Armenian-Chinese relations. In particular, in 2019, the trade turnover between Armenia and China amounted to $944,825,000 US, an increase of about 23% compared to 2018. The country's share in Armenia's foreign trade is almost 12%, with 7.3% in exports and 13.6% imports. As of 2019, China is the fourth largest export partner of Armenia in terms of exports after Russia, Switzerland, and Bulgaria. And in terms of imports, it's second country after Russia, within about $751 million in imports. As large infrastructure projects are also associated with potential social risks and environmental protection, joint Armenian-Chinese strategic project evaluations are needed to address the issues of major transport projects. According to some estimates, the implementation of infrastructure project will increase trade by 2.8 up to 9.7%, which help people get out of moderate poverty. Reducing trade costs can change the economic geography within countries between these two countries. At the same time, this should be noted that Armenian workforce combining intellectual potential with Chinese investment, manufacturing, management, marketing experience, and business skills, they will provide mutual benefits in the form of investment income and, for the Armenian side, employment growth. In the modern world, countries have become deeply interconnected, which, however, does not mean the elimination of conflict between two nations. In this situation, it is necessary to change the approaches to raising issues and solving problems. State must be learned from each other. Thanks for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Anna Zalinyan. I do believe that your book is a very important research material for us. And to sum up, generally speaking, it becomes more necessary to stabilize the economy of both China and Armenia, especially under the background of post-pandemic era. And I'm really happy and honorable to learn so many constructive recommendations from all of you. And next, let's make some Q&As. So does anyone want to ask some questions to the speakers? Please raise your hands.
Let's say thank you to our speakers from China and Armenia and Dr. Jen Yuntien for his excellent moderation of this panel. Dear friends, thank you for being here. I can see that many people still here. They are following this event. They are making some notes. Thank you very much that you stayed with us. And we are looking forward for the second forum. Dr. Jen, Dr. Liu, Dr. Sung Chao, Dr. Sung Lilei. We will continue our cooperation and hopefully, as I said, it is already decided that next year we will have the second one in April. And every year we will have a forum, and this time 5+5, and hopefully next time 10+10. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. Dr. Jen, if you have something to say in conclusion, please.
No, I don't have anything for conclusion. I just really want to appreciate your wonderful effort to organize this meeting. I'm really proud for you and really looking forward to our next cooperation.
Actually, we did it together with support of Mr. Fanyon, so it was a teamwork. It was a teamwork. Thank you very much, dear friends. We have an hour coffee break, so please, you are welcome. We can continue our comments and questions there as well. And after, already, bye-bye. Bye. Thank you.